like, honest to God, like, I dream about it, I visualise it, I can't sleep, I got anxiety, do you know what I mean? I want this win. I want this win more than anything.
Seems to be quite a popular name as well in over this side, Connor.
Yeah.
Got Connor Walker.
Connor Walker,
Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
also a big ticket seller.
oh mate, over this side, I think you are. So I'd like to say a really warm welcome to Connor Tierney, Brummy.
Man.
So thank you very much for the invite. This is my very first bare knuckle event.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to speak to the star of the show, really.
Bare knuckle royalty.
Do you know what I mean?
They call it, yeah.
So I fell on my face here.
Yeah.
But like I say, look, my channel, I cover strictly boxing. So I just want to get to know you, just a little bit about your past and how you've got to where you are today, basically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm Connor the Brumtime, I'm a Tierney, I'm 31 years old. I'm actually a full-time quantity surveyor, so I work 5 days a week as a QS. Dad of 3 kids, I have a fiance. I no longer, I've moved out of Birmingham, moved out for a year and I'm in the countryside, so a quiet little life. But I'm a massive blue nose and we're here at the fan zone today. Massive, you know what I mean? Birmingham have been a part of this for me and making the next step to fighting at the St Andrews, obviously a possible dream come true. I started boxing as an amateur boxer. I had 48 amateur fights. I boxed for Frank O'Sullivan with the Yafai brothers. I boxed on the same shows as Galal Yafai. I had 48 amateur fights. I won about 23, 24. And believe it or not, before I even started as a senior, I had 17 bouts and won 5. 22 bouts, won 5, lost 17. So you can imagine with a losing record like that, I just got used to losing all my life as a kid. But I just loved the sport of boxing and I knew I was going to go somewhere, but I just never had the dedication and the discipline. And like fast track forward, I started to put the effort and the work into it. And somehow now I'm the king of bare knuckle.
What? Right. You've hit on a couple of things that I want to touch back on.
Yeah.
You said that you just got used to losing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that mindset, like you're thinking, oh, you know, how did you get there?
I think as a kid, like my dad never forced me into boxing. I loved boxing. But when I was losing fights, I got used to losing fights and realising that I wasn't training hard enough. But then I didn't want to let my dad down and that to not say that I'm not training hard enough. So it was difficult, you know what I mean? I went for a difficult time of being used to losing and having that mindset of, oh, if I lose, I've lost anyway. You know, and honest to God, like the mindset that I've got now, like I'd rather burn in hell than lose this Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Like my hunger and my passion for this, like honest to God, like I dream about it, I visualise it, I can't sleep, I got anxiety. Do you know what I mean? I want this win. I want this win more than anything.
What was the switch, Connor? What happened?
A break. I stopped boxing when I was about 14 till I was about 18. But I did. I went in the gyms and I trained, but I just didn't want to box competitively, so I couldn't be bothered. Then I obviously went and started for Frank, and then can you hear that?
Yeah.
So then I started for Frank, and I started my senior career, and obviously Frank O'Sullivan, one of the best coaches in Birmingham, and I had Pete Williams as well in the corner with me, and we had a great gym, great stable. Galal wasn't even in GB then. Galal was just still boxing for the club. Gamal and Khalid were popping in. And I was like, I fancy this. And I was training hard, but I still didn't train as hard as I used to. When I look at the young kids now, just to not ramble on, but I actually train at Tamworth Amateur Boxing Club twice a week to keep in touch with the amateur pedigree. And I watch how hard they train, and I still think, I wish I could go back in time as a senior and do it properly. Like, even when I was a senior, I could have pushed myself. So, yeah, I'm grateful to be where I am. The switch was when I went bare knuckle, and I thought, I want to be on telly, I want to be famous. And I got on TV and I blasted the guy, and I was like, wow, the publicity. Like, I was quite a kid who had friends, but I wanted more friends, and I wanted to be loved as a kid. I just wanted to be loved as a kid. Independent, and I come from a big family. I got 13, there's 13 of us from my mum and dad. So I reckon I was just lacking that. I wanted that attention. And being a boxer at the top of the game is what I wanted. And as an amateur boxer, I thought I'm never going to make it. Then when bare knuckle come along, that's it. I was making it. Like, do you know what I mean? I knew I was going to do something big in the game. It's weird. Like, I just done it. People like you're really good at this. Like, this is a niche. And I was just like, I am actually good. And the rest is history. You know what I mean? Here we are, like.
But how did you get into bare knuckle? Because like I said, you could have still turned pro. You didn't have to go to GB. You didn't have to take that route.
So, funny enough, I had 500 followers on Instagram. I couldn't sell 10 tickets for a bare knuckle event. And I knew it was on Television X, which back then was on some like porn channel. But they were using it as a pay-per-view, and I was like, I want to be on telly. So I volunteered for the 8-man tournament. And I got into the tournament. And luckily, the guy who was supposed to fight pulled out. So I was like, I ain't sold any tickets. And I'm going to pull you off the show. And then I went, oh, look, we're gonna have to just give you the benefit of the doubt. And you're going to have to fight this fight. And I went in and obviously just boxed the ears off him. I dropped him like 3 or 4 times now, and I dropped him, and everyone was like, wow, this kid's like come out of nowhere. And I was just like, wow, I love that. Like, what a buzz. And then I was just like, wow, I'm going to be something in this, you know what I mean? And then the next fight after that, I got knocked out by the guy I'm fighting tonight. You know, it was his 3rd or 4th fight, and it was a prize fighter semi-final. And he knocked me out in about 30 seconds. And it was a loss that I've never, not say I've recovered, obviously, but I've never ever forgotten. And I always get it brought up. And the whole camp, his fans are bringing it up. So I want to put it to fucking bed this Saturday.
So there's actually a history around everything.
Yeah.
The beginning of your career, you choosing this. Yeah. To obviously this week's fight week.
Yeah, it's mad. It's an amazing...
and it's in Brum.
It's in Birmingham. It's at the Utility, and I've always said I was going to headline the Utility, and I've done the BP Pulse last year. I mean, what bare knuckle fighter comes into Birmingham, does sellouts, and headlines 2 of the biggest arenas in Birmingham? Matchroom had a show on before. I remember Galal was on it, and we had a bigger attendance than Matchroom show. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a fact, and we all have a bigger attendance than most of the Matchroom shows on Saturday. I think the following's ridiculous now. Like the amount of people that are coming up to me. I just stopped off at the garage for fuel, and someone stopped me and went, oh, "Good luck for your fight. Do it for the Brummies." Like that's what I'm doing it for. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing it for the publicity and exposure, and not just that. Yeah, everyone wants money, but and bouts, but I'm doing it for legacy. Do you know what I mean? I want to be that Birmingham fighter. I want people to look back and go, Conor Tierney was the top dog. He was the bare knuckle man. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm getting there.
You know what, Conor? What I find like. Because obviously you've got an air about you.
Yeah.
You know, you've dressed really smartly, you're presentable, you've got that smile. But it's when you said that, like, you wanted to be accepted, you wanted to have friends, and it's like, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, that, like, just looking at you straight on, that's not the mentality that I would have put with you.
No.
And I know you said you come from a big family, as do I, so you've got to fight for your place at the table anyway. So where did that come from? Where did that, need to be kind of accepted?
I was in
boxing's like the worst sport for that, because if you're not
lonely, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think in a way, how far can you go when you're on your own to then become number one? I mean, when you're in a crowd of people, nobody looks. But when you're on your own and you step out the crowd of people, everyone sees who you are, and that's what boxing is. You know what I mean? You're eliminating yourself from the herd of sheep, and you're becoming a shepherd. You know what I mean? And people will follow you, and that's how I see it. And what it was as a kid, I was wanting to be loved and liked by people. And people did like me, but they just didn't invite me out. And I used to try and tag along and stuff, honestly. And I used to feel like a right little beg. And then I remember thinking, like, I just wanted to be wanted. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be liked. And in fast forward now, like, I can't. My phones are constantly, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, obviously, there's an element. I have met some really good friends through this. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how far I've come.
How far do you think you're gonna go?
Come through this one, I think it's greatness.
When you come through this one?
Yeah. Come through this one, man. When I come through this one, it's greatness. I've got to put this to bed, and then after this, it's stardom. I'm all, like, when I started with this company. So after my bare knuckle career for a previous company, started with these in 2021. I've had my first fight in New York in 2022. One of the best debuts in history. And I went up. My following went up from like 8,000 to like 25,000 overnight. Yeah, like the amount of Americans I had, famous NFL players messaging me like, "I've seen your clip, man. Wow, what's?" And I was just like, "Whoa!" And then people see me on the street like, "You're that lad, you're that lad." And then all of a sudden, it just was rising for me. And I was going to be a star. Do you know what I mean? And then when I fought at Wembley, I was co-main event Timoko Venom Page versus Mike Perry. You know what I mean? And that was the first one. And I was co-main and I won. And then obviously I lost to Jake Lindsay because I never took it serious, because I was drinking and partying and enjoying being somebody and forgetting that I needed to be in the gym. And ever since that loss, that's defined me. That's made me even better and even stronger. And this is why I'm as good as I am now. That's why I put in 150% every camp. This is why I'm in the best shape I ever am in. That's why every camp, everyone goes, this is the best I've seen you. And last one was it was good. Do you know what I mean?
The demon that you got to get over.
Yeah.
How does it feel knowing that you're going back in there with him again? Like, I'm saying this.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah,
Darren Till. Darren Till's, obviously, this is his debut.
Yeah.
But he said, like, it's like I'm shitting myself to fight at the end of the day. I'm not scared of the person.
Yeah.
But
exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't fear the man. I fear the occasion. That's it. I fear losing. When you're scared of losing and you don't want to lose, you'll do anything in your world. It's like if a dog backs you up in a corner and you're scared of getting bitten, you'll do anything to save yourself. Do you know what I mean? And it's exactly what it is. I am scared. I don't want to lose. I've built something astronomical here. I mean, you talk about bare knuckle in England and everybody goes Tierney. That's what I want. Do you know what I mean? I've created a massive, like Tyson Fury knows who I am, Conor McGregor knows who I am, most professional boxers know who I am. Do you know what I mean? I'm spoken about briefly. I won't be surprised if conversations have passed about me selling 100 grand worth of tickets for the show, and promoters are probably like getting pricking their ears. Like, well, who's that kid then? Is he any good? I mean, it's mad how far I've come. Like, this is something now. Well, everyone said it to me. This is the one that you'll be remembered for. This is the one you win and you'll be remembered for. This is the one that'll excel you there because you put that one loss. I mean, the Lindsay loss wasn't that. I just knew I took my piss and I never trained. But this one was like I was young, I was inexperienced, and I got tormented by his team after and over and over, and messages. Put this to fucking bed. Sorry about the swearing, and it's done. And I'm number one. Do you know what I mean? I'm number one anyway, but I'm solidifying number one, cementing it. There'll be no one as big as me, homegrown, that's come from no professional background, it's come from no UFC background, can sell 100 grand of tickets, sell out arenas, and bring out the atmosphere that I bring to these events.
Listen, you've sold me. Like I said, if I weren't coming and I was watching this, I'd be buying a ticket to come because I think what it is with you, it's your ambition and the fact that you don't give up, the fact that you're willing to like face adversity and still come through, but also take accountability. Like you said, I can't count that loss because that was on me.
Yeah.
But this opponent that I've got, it was 30 seconds. I didn't get to do anything.
Yeah, I didn't get to box. I think I landed one shot, one jab. But, you know, this is it now. This is it. Like, people are going to me like me and my dad spent the day that day. That was same day Wayne's. That was me at the age of 24. I can show you the pictures. Like, I look like a baby, you know what I mean? I was 24, I'm 32 this year. I got my youngest, she was 2 months old. She's 7 now. Do you know what I mean? It's a long time gone. I'm muscly. Like I say, look, I'm muscle bound, I'm heavy, I'm fit, I'm ripped, I'm determined, I'm driven, you know what I mean? I'm a champion. I'm a defending champion. I'm a 3 times champion, a prize fighter champion, a former world champion, current UK champion, soon to be European and interim world champion. So there's no stopping me. I know it, you know what I mean? I pray every day. I'm grateful for everything I've got. I'm grateful for being able to see, hear, talk, eat, walk, run. And then on top of that, as a bonus, I'm fucking good at what I do in the ring, so I'm blessed.
Final words then. What's the biggest thing that you've learned so far in your career?
Biggest thing I've learned so far in my career is stop trying to impress everybody. Be yourself. I tried to be materialistic and spend my money on designer clothes and be this flashy Conor McGregor guy that I didn't have to be. And now I'm just humble and down to earth, and the amount of fans and support I get by being myself is like, I've matured and humbled so much for that. So I'm so pleased that people get to like me for the current person I am.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to see you fight on the weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Birmingham's very own Conor Tierney.
Thank you.